Hello and welcome to Ideagen TV's 17 Days of Sustainability. Today we are honored and very excited for a fascinating discussion with Deanea LeFlore, Senior Director of Partnerships at the Ideagen, and Christine Galib, Senior Director of Programs at the Ideagen. Deanea, Christine, welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
It is so great to have you both on the show with us today. We're looking forward for a fantastic conversation, and I know our global audience is going to love it as well. So diving right in, Christine, Deanea, can you tell our global audience a little bit about yourselves and the work that you guys do at the Ideagen, and can you tell us a little bit about what the Ideagen is?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. It's always helpful to kind of know what you're talking about before we get right into the rest of the program here. So again, I'll start just with the Ideagen's vision and our mission, and then I'll talk a little bit about what that means, because we're not kind of a nebulous vision and mission. We're an anchor, a destination, and a technological innovation and entrepreneurial hub here in Houston. So our vision is that we are accelerating innovation and connecting communities. Our mission is that the Ideagen anchors, activates, and accelerates the innovation ecosystem through partnerships, pathways, and programs that create opportunities to advance and sustain resilient economic growth in Houston. So just hearing the vision and mission, you'll already know that we have a penchant for P's, so to speak. Partnerships, pathways, and programs really create what the Ideagen is. It's an anchor, it's a destination, it's the capital, so to speak, of Houston's 16-acre innovation district. And Deanea and I will talk a little bit more about what that building looks like and some of our partnerships, pathways, and programs that actually make our vision and mission come to life. So Deanea, I'll kick it over to you and you can talk through some of the partnerships.
Thank you so much, Christine. Part of the Ideagen, as Christine mentioned, we're really interested in connecting communities in Houston and making sure that they can be a part of this innovation economy that we're building. And so we want to build capacity in the local community and capacity with local organizations to bring them together in one place that's going to create synergy so that they can accomplish much more than they would be apart. And so that's what I'm really focused on, is connecting different partners in our community that's going to be able to allow on-ramps for people, regardless of where they're at in their educational and entrepreneurial journey, to be able to participate in the tech and innovation economy through specific partnerships and pathways that are going to get them the results that they're looking for.
I love that. And I love hearing Deanea say that, because it reminds us of the importance of our work. It's not just about offering a program here or there, or an event here or there, or kind of these ad hoc, maybe band-aids on some type of solution. But what Deanea and I and the rest of the Ideagen team really work to do is to create those on-ramps, as Deanea said, through the partnerships that position anybody in the community. Whether you're a corporate innovator, whether you're an academic partner member, a student maybe at an academic institution, whether you're a community member, or whether you're a startup and entrepreneur, you can come to the Ideagen, and wherever you are in your journey, there will be a pathway or a program for you.
That's absolutely fantastic. You guys, you're really helping lead the charge, and I really like how you're using, innovative solutions and sustainability, to help carry out your role and your mission at the Ideagen. I think it's fantastic. And especially, now as we're on our runway to 2030, to help, achieving those goals, those 17 UN goals, I think, the work you all are doing is just incredible. So I know I'm speaking on behalf of Ideagen. We applaud you for that. So you mentioned a little bit about, or a lot about innovation and sustainability. So you clearly are helping lead the charge towards goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Can you, now that we have a little the background on the ION, can you explain to our global audience how you all are doing that and how you're leading that charge towards goal 11?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I'll kind of lay the foundation here just by saying, sustainability, we say that word all the time. But once we couch it in terms of actionable strategies that can be implemented, then we move from sustainability as a word to creating a smart city or a sustainable city through this notion of connecting communities. I'll talk a little bit about what the ION Smart and Resilient Cities Accelerator has done from that angle, and then I know Deanea will add some of her comments as well. So the ION Smart and Resilient Cities Accelerator launched its first cohort in September 2019. So just about a year ago, and you said 2030 earlier, and I kind of took a breath and I said, what year is it? It's 2020, folks. So here we are. We launched our first cohort a year ago to focus on the different transportation, mobility, resiliency issues and challenges that are facing the city of Houston. Cohort 2, we launched on Earth Day of this year in tandem with Houston's Climate Action Plan, which was also launched on Earth Day. Cohort 2 focused on air quality, water purification, and clean tech solutions. And so you can see these startups in these cohorts that came through our program phase and are now in their pilot phase for their solutions. They're all aimed at supporting the city of Houston in creating Houston as a smart, resilient, sustainable city. And so cohort 3's theme is sustainability. We decided, you know what, we talked so much about this, let's just put it as a theme for cohort 3. So we'll launch applications later in October. So definitely check our social media platforms to be involved and to apply to be in our cohort 3. What we do is we have a program phase where we have that training piece and that education piece as we prepare startups to have pilot opportunities to pilot their technology with the city of Houston and with some of our industry partners. And that really gives us a way to integrate and deploy technology sustainably, right? You don't go from 0 to 100 overnight and deploy something without kind of vetting it and testing it and making sure that you're iterating and learning along the way. So that's the way that the ION Smart and Resilient Cities Accelerator has set itself up to be sustainable. Deanea, I don't know, I'm sure you have a bunch you want to add to that, because I only talked about one small thing at the ION.
Sure. Thank you so much, Christine, for explaining all of that great work that you guys are doing. I also want to add that we're very interested in many of the other goals as well, particularly like gender equality and equality and economic growth. Some of the ways that we're participating in moving those goals forward at the ION is making sure that as we create programs and opportunities, that we have a specific focus on underrepresented groups, particularly those that are underrepresented in the tech and innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. And so we're very purposeful at the ION when we present our programming that we always have inclusive panelists. We have women on our panels. We have underrepresented groups on our panels. We've even partnered with an accelerator hub that helps you launch your tech-enabled business that's focused specifically on meeting the challenges that women and minorities face when trying to launch a tech startup. Our partnership in that front is with Ideagen. And so I really believe that tech and innovation really has the opportunity to really drive economic development, economic growth for people, but also when done very intentionally, it has the ability to close the gap between the haves and have-nots instead of increasing it, which is something that we would be in danger of doing if we're not very intentional about how we grow the tech and innovation economy.
That's fantastic. And I love how, you guys focus on innovation and sustainability, but that's one of the goals, but you also focus on, gender equality, and more than just one of the goals. I mean, there's 17, and I love how you highlight, and you also use technology and innovation to achieve all of those goals. I think it's absolutely fantastic, which kind of, leads me into my next question. You guys at the ION are looking to achieve more than just one goal. And you mentioned connecting communities. So you have entrepreneurs, corporate and academic communities, you bring them all together. How are you and your communities looking at the future to address not only goal 11 and 5, but all of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals?
Sure. Deanea, do you want to start? You want me to start?
You take it away, Christine.
Well, I keep going back to what Deanea said earlier with that notion of it's not an isolated problem. So we're looking at, in our mission and vision, connecting communities has been embedded into the highest level of the work that we do. So our mission aligns to resilient economic growth. And when you take that apart and break it down, that all of the goals and the SDGs align to that in some way, shape, or form, right? We might not necessarily be immediately solving one goal or the other, but we're working with the partners whose efforts across all of our different categories of people whom we work with, those corporate innovators, startup and entrepreneurs, academic partners, and community members, in some way, shape, or form, whether that's through creating jobs or supporting startups working on solving hunger challenges. One of our startups in cohort 1, actually Humanity, discovered a need in the community, and that in times of a crisis or an emergency situation, everybody wants to help, and everybody says, "Can I please help?" And what you end up with is a situation where there are a lot of helpers, but there's no formal mechanism of saying, well, here's where the need is, and here's where the aid is. So his platform, Humanity, actually connects and makes a network that supports this streamlined and efficient processing of matching needs and resources. So by bringing this network concept together, not only in the virtual world, because we've been operating virtually since March, due to COVID-19, but as a physical destination where when I come to Houston, I am landing at the ION, and I know that I will see people who are working towards any one of these goals in some way, shape, or form. And if I don't immediately bump into someone, well, there's 1 or 2 degrees of separation because of the robust network of our own partners. And Deanea and I will talk about some of our partners a little bit later, but having the backing of Rice University, which provides a lot of support for the ION, that opens us up to not only a world-renowned academic and research institution, but also Rice's commitment to truly supporting the community in which it's located.
That's fantastic. Deanea, is there anything you'd like to add?
I think she covered it. You said it very well, Christine.
It was a fantastic insight. And you mentioned the ION as being a physical destination, which kind of leads me right into the next question. Obviously, given the COVID-19 global pandemic and everyone having to go virtual and remote, how are you all at the ION, using and relying on technology and innovation to help, carry out your goal and mission, and to help continue to build sustainable cities and communities?
Well, one of the things that a lot of organizations, and ours included, had to do is to take all of the activities to a virtual platform. One of the things that makes tech and innovation possible is these unexpected collisions. It's people bumping into each other, meeting each other. So we had to somehow recreate that in a digital way so that people could remain in their houses and not have to come out during this time of quarantine. I must say that taking events and activities online virtually was challenging, but it's also been extremely rewarding. I think that that's given us an opportunity to really expand our reach and also make things more accessible to people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to participate when they had to actually drive in. And so while there is still always going to be the need for that in-person togetherness and collisions, I think that what we discovered during COVID is that a hybrid opportunity is really going to create more equitable outcomes for people, so that people have the options to be able to participate either way. So I really feel like we've been able to create more access and connect more people, and have really good outcomes. And that's something that we'll continue to do in a hybrid capacity when we're able to meet in person again.
That's right. No, I couldn't agree more. You know, it's the same thing with Ideagen and Ideagen TV. You know, we convened in person, and it was great. We had fantastic events, and you know, it's that feel, that connection that you have when you know, the exchange of the business card. But you know, with the pandemic, we had to switch virtually. But like you said, the reach has grown, and you know, getting the message out about these goals and creating awareness about these goals, you know, it's just taken off. I think we were really able to, you know, just talk about what the goals are, you know, and it makes it easier. Technology has, you know, in a way made it easier. It's unfortunate given the pandemic, but the reach has grown dramatically. And I think that's what, you know, is one of the big takeaways. You know, the other thing, same with companies and organizations, they left on, you know, on a Friday, they said, take your stuff home. You don't know, you know, we don't know what's going on. But some of these companies, you know, they haven't missed a beat. And some say they've been even more productive. They're pushing out more of their work and more of their programs in a faster time because of technology and the use of innovation.
And I just want to add on here too, one, because Deanea is too humble to say this, but I can brag about her and her team. They pivoted overnight. Literally, you know, when you said we were all in the office one Friday and Monday, we're like, all right, how do we convert our dining room table into our home office? But Deanea and her team, you know, they kind of had a moment where they said, all right, we were running these in-person events, and now we're trying to figure out how to do Zoom meetings.
Yep.
And they did it flawlessly. And it was this kind of mentality of, we're going to make it, we're going to do it, we're going to still put on those events, because there's so great a need where people need to be connecting and colliding. And you couldn't just pause that for the whole summer, right? Because startups are waiting for funding, you know, people are waiting for coaching, they're looking for those mentorship and networking opportunities. And putting that on overnight is really a testament to kind of the ethos of the ION team and the leadership of it. Is that nothing stops us. You know, it's like, all right, like here's this challenge. Let's take a breath. Let's kind of focus, and let's put those events on. And I think Deanea and her team ran, I don't know, 150 virtual events or so this summer, somewhere about that.
Wow.
Yeah, well attended, 30 to 50 people each. We had our own demo day this summer. It was a virtual summer, but it's a testament to really the notion of, you're an entrepreneur, you're going to make it work, you're resilient in your approach, and you're willing to try new things.
That's right.
I also do want to say, you know, we do talk about technology as a way of broadening our reach, but there's also the problem of the digital divide. And that's something that we are working on in Houston. Every city, you know, overnight, just like we were sent home, a lot of kids were sent home too.
Right.
And so we hear these stories of, you know, kids trying to do their homework in a McDonald's parking lot with their Wi-Fi. That's a very real problem that is a major setback for any smart and sustainable and connected community. And so we've really focused here on Houston with a special task force related to the digital divide and digital equity. We've diverted city dollars to help support some of these efforts. And most importantly, we've sought partnerships that make that public-private kind of, they bridge that gap, because that's one of the ways that we can create those connections. is not just tackling a problem, from here's the hat I wear, here's the hat you wear. All right, good. We'll just tackle the same problem, but from different ways. We've come together, and you can tell I'm proud of Houston because it's my city, but we've come together and we've said, how can we do what truly meets the need? Because it's 2020. The fact that people are without basic internet, let's work on that. Let's fix that.
That is incredible. It's I'm speechless at the work that you guys are doing. You really are global leaders for making the effort to try to close that gap and break that divide. And we congratulate you for that. Deanea, putting all those virtual events and the successful events is leaving me stumped on this next question, because what sort of setbacks have you seen, throughout this summer and just everything happened? What sort of setback have you seen towards achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals? And what do you think is the best strategy to get back on track as we are rapidly approaching 2030?
Well, I think the real setback, I think, is what Christine mentioned, is closing that digital divide, because as everything has gone virtual, for the people who don't have the ability to connect virtually, that's still, again, going to widen the gap between those that have opportunities and those that don't. And so I think if we can overcome that, that will put us on a much better track for the future. I think some of the other setbacks, it ended up being somehow blessings in disguise, despite of all of the heartache that's come as a result of this. There's been silver linings as well. And so I think it's also exposed that gap more than what people had been willing to admit before. And I think until it's exposed, until people start really talking about it, it won't be fixed. So I think that could also be considered one of the blessings or silver linings of this.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with that. And that's what, we want to use this platform on Ideagen, is to create that awareness and show, that it's real, and, we need to, come together. And that's what I also love about the ION. You're bringing in all these different, groups of people, these sectors, and you're working together. And, that's what we love here at Ideagen, is the cross-sector collaboration. And I just think that, your mission is just so amazing, and the work that you guys are doing is so incredible. We've talked about some of the work and the initiatives that you guys have at the ION, and I mean, I don't even work there, and I'm already, it's incredible. But what would you say has been the most rewarding for you all at the ION as we continue to battle through this global pandemic, and what made it so rewarding?
I'll let Christine go first this time.
Yeah, so the rewarding moments, that's something I love talking about. And I think, just coming back to our team spirit, that has been one of my guiding lights throughout all this, because we're all kind of working from home in our own little homes, in our own little areas, and we still know that there's a team that we're working with. And that's a testament, really to our leadership, to the various players and our partners that have remained fully committed to us, no matter where they are. And in some ways they've said, we know you're all working from home. We haven't disappeared. We're working from our homes too. And then we log into our Zoom, and, first there was everyone trying out the coolest virtual background. And here's me, I've got my white wall behind me. And it was a very authentic moment to see, your colleagues kind of just, all right, here I am at my dining room table. We're going to do this together. I think that almost vulnerability and authenticity was very rewarding to see how that panned out in the events we still ran, the demo day that we still had. We had our cohort 2 demo day for the ION Smart and Resilient Cities Accelerator. And we made that, we kind of went away from a demo day that was, an hour or two where just the startups pitched. we made it a full day, right? We're in Texas, everything's bigger in Texas, go bigger, go home. Well, we were already at home, so we said, how can we make this even bigger? We had 450 unique viewers from 12 countries all around the world. So that couldn't have been possible had we opted to do that in person. So it's kind of totally different. It's rewarding in a very different way, but I look to that as one of the most rewarding moments as well. And I also look to some of the partnerships that we've been able to secure at the Ion. I don't know, Deanea, if you want to talk about some of our big wins that have occurred, you know, over the past month even.
Sure. So we have a really great partnership now with Chevron, who's going to be our programming partner, and they're also going to have space in the Ion for their innovation teams to rotate in and out of there so that they can participate in those collisions between other corporate innovators and academics and startups, entrepreneurs. I mentioned Divinc, an accelerator that's going to be in the building as well. And we also have a partnership with Microsoft that was recently announced. And that's going to really help with upskilling and closing the gap, the skills gap. And so we really have some exciting things online, and there'll be some even more exciting partnerships that are going to come as well.
That's so fantastic. And, you know, Goal 17 of the UN SDGs is global partnerships. And I think that is one of the most important goals there is, because solving world hunger and making sure quality education around the globe, it can't be achieved by one person or one company. And I think creating those global partnerships, those powerhouse partnerships is what's gonna put us ahead as we get to 2030, as we're on this runway to 2030. I think that it's fantastic, you know, that you guys see it the same way and go out and you know, work together with other organizations. It's incredible. So global partnerships, I think, is one of the best ways and one of the best strategies on how we're going to achieve the goals. But Christine and Deanea, what do you see as one of the biggest inhibitors of reaching the Sustainable Development Goals?
Yeah, I can start with this one. You know, I know we've said it before, but it's the ability to come together and actually collaborate, to actually step outside of your own office building and go outside and see, okay, what's the work to be done? Who's doing some of that work, and how can I collaborate with them? One of the things that comes to my mind is actually our first tenant at the Ion, Chevron Venture Group. And just kind of reading the press release surrounding that announcement was interesting to me, because it's very easy for Chevron to say, you know what, we're going to stay in our office and we're going to keep doing our thing, and we're going to come to the office and just, you know, stay within those four walls. But that's not at all what Chevron did when they became tenants of the Ion. What did they do? They said, we want our employees to have that flexibility to come into the Ion, to make that destination their home as well. So you know, if you ask Chevron, they say, one of the big questions that comes up is, well, how many square feet did you take at the Ion? And they say, we took it all. Because their employees are going to be at the Greenhouse Pub on the first floor of the Ion. They're going to be having a drink with startups that are walking in, you know, maybe for a mentor meeting. They're going to have their office space for sure, but one of the biggest barriers to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals is that level of actual collaboration. Everybody loves to talk and say, you know, we're collaborating, we're doing this, we're doing that, and it's very rewarding to see that people like Chevron, like Microsoft that Deanea mentioned, they're actually putting the actions behind those words, and they're saying, we're committing to do this. So that's what I've got to say, and I think maybe Deanea will agree with me. So
100% agreed. Well said.
That is just incredible, and I just, you know, I love thinking of how, you know, this massive company Chevron comes in, but they're still going to talk to startups, like you said, and still go grab a drink with someone that doesn't work at Chevron. I think I really love, this idea of the ION and how everyone is there working together, collaborating and all working on achieving their goals and their missions. I think it's incredible. And it's a great transition to my next question. We talked about how entrepreneurs come to the ION, incorporate in academic communities, and all of these communities come and collaborate. And that's what we are all about at Ideagen, is cross-sector collaboration, breaking down those barriers, having someone in finance sit someone next to someone in healthcare and come up with, the next plan or solution to achieving a goal. So why is cross-sector collaboration and innovation, and I think I might know the answer, but why is cross-sector collaboration and innovation so vital to helping to solve many of the world's most vexing issues? And to go a little further, how do you infuse collaboration into your daily mission to successfully achieve your goals at the ION?
I have a really good anecdote for that one that I would love to share. Houston has a historical district kind of nearby the ION called Freedmanstown. And that town was founded in 1865 when formerly enslaved African Americans were freed in 1865 and then established Freedmanstown. Well, just in general conversations with Freedmanstown, we were just talking about technology, innovation, a general conversation. And then it was brought up, well, we could use technology to preserve the history of this area. Okay, well, how would we go about doing that? Well, what if we had a virtual reality experience when you're standing in present day with Freedmanstown, you hold up your smartphone and you're able to see what it used to look like from way back when? And what if we brought in the arts and hired actors to be the ones that you're seeing on the screen and reenactments of something that's happening in that neighborhood? And what if, and what if, and what if? And it just snowballed from there to this amazing project that at some point is going to include geospatial activities, AR, VR activities. And so I really think that just getting outside of your little bubble and crossing over into other fields, into taking tech into the humanities, you can come up with amazing opportunities to preserve people's culture and history and the area of a place. And all of that is going to speak to the development goals of equality and gender equality. So I think that the more opportunities that we have to work collaboratively across sectors, the more amazing things that are going to happen as a result. And those things are going to advance the development goals.
That's incredible. I absolutely love that. And I love how, like you said, technology can help show and break down those barriers and help, show, history. I think it's fantastic. Deanea and Christine, before we, wrap up this fantastic conversation, this is a question that I love asking here on Ideagen TV, because it, really sets you up for your insights and perspective. And that is, what are the 3 key pieces of advice that you both would give in order to help us achieve not 1 or 2, but all 17 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, those big, ambitious goals? What are your 3 key pieces of advice?
Deanea, you want me to answer first? Or you want to go first?
I think that our ideas on this are pretty similar. Christine and I talk a lot about this sort of thing, and so I'm going to let her answer on behalf of our team.
Well, I'm happy to answer. The first thing for me, I think, goes back to this notion of being yourself, being your authentic self. And I think for many reasons, people either struggle to uncover what that is, what that looks like, or if they have uncovered what that looks like, maybe it's finding the pathways that can help them develop that authentic self into the next level. So be yourself. If you're passionate about something, do it. Get involved, volunteer, talk to people, find like-minded people, find unlike-minded people. right? And hear their perspectives. And so my first piece of advice, be yourself. The second piece of advice, hear their perspectives and actually actively listen. So when someone is sharing something or telling a story, or you're at an event and you hear someone saying something, actively listen to that. And instead of maybe filing it away and saying, all right, that was great, maybe take that one step further and say, well, how can I act to maybe take what they said and create change such that our world is not just different but better? Because everybody has that power within themselves to kind of take their talents and to see what their skills are, where they need to potentially be reskilled or upskilled. And everybody can make that decision for themselves and say, what's my next step? Where's my next pathway? And that's why places like the ION exist, because sometimes it can be really hard to see that pathway, even though you want to take that next step. So be yourself, actively listen. And I think another good piece of advice is get out there and meet people, build those relationships, and figure out what people are doing and how to develop those relationships where you can kind of keep a pulse on all the great change that's happening. So maybe I'll throw in a fourth one. Come to the ION. Right?
I love it. Be yourself, actively listen, get out there and build relationships. I think that is fantastic advice on just not only achieving the goals, but just, helping better your professional career and helping carry out your mission and your values. I think that's incredible advice. Deanea LeFlore and Christine Galib, thank you so much for joining us on Ideagen TV for the 17 Days of Sustainability. Before I let you go, what is your post-summit ask for our global audience as we all continue to change the world? Christine?
I think my post-summit ask would be, I know I grew up learning about the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. I'd like to upgrade that to the platinum rule, to treat others the way they want to be treated. And so that we take time to look at people through their own cultural lens and be more understanding of the different diversity that's in the world, and not be so internal minded, but to treat others the way they want to be treated, not how I would like to be treated if I were them.
That's really powerful. I don't know if I can top that.
I'm speechless.
But I'm like, I gotta follow that. Maybe I should go first next time. But I think just maybe I'll add a footnote to that, because that was truly great advice. I'd add seek the truth, right? Where it's not, there's so much going on in our world. There's so many, different things people are going to tell you. And when you seek the truth, you begin to hear how people want you to treat them, right? Not how you imagine someone wants you to treat them. When you seek the truth, there's actually a lot of work involved there, because you got to push through all the lies. But then what you uncover is truly something magical. So maybe that's my footnote.
No, those are both incredible just post-summit asks for our global audience. And you are leaving me speechless after this interview. Deanea, Christine, you both are true global leaders, and I applaud and just look up to the both of you and the work that you all are doing at the ION. It truly is helping us change the world and create awareness and ultimately achieve those goals. Thank you both so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on Ideagen TV. And we look forward to collaborating and working together in the future as we are on this runway to 2030 and beyond. So thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.